you asked 10 creator friends you have, are people really going to tell you what they get paid? It's a very competitive world, competitive.
Right. Yeah,
Because it's so
I
personal,
know.
right? So tied to your personal worth that whatever you feel you're getting paid is like what you're worth.
Welcome back to the Running Wine Mom podcast. I'm your host, Samantha Cieslinski, aka the Running Wine Mom. Today's guest has built something really special, not just a community, but a space where moms are seen as powerful decision makers, storytellers, and partners. Chelsea Clark has worked with hundreds of brands, supported thousands of mom creators across North America, and somehow managed to sit at the intersection of business, motherhood, and integrity in a way that still feels deeply human. Chelsea has created Momfluence, a platform that connects brands and creators, and myself included. She has a unique perspective to see what brands want, to know what moms need, and she's not afraid to name the gaps in between the two. I'm really excited to dig into what it's like building something that supports families while shaping the future of mom-led marketing. So without further ado, let's welcome Chelsea. Welcome.
Hello, thank you, thank you. You're my very first podcast. In my previous career, I think I was on some as like an interview guest, but none from Momfluence.
Yay,
So it
I'm
feels
so
fitting that it's
excited.
someone that actually knows the company. And you,
Yes,
yeah,
was so like I said, I was so excited when I got the email because, sometimes I always like look up who the person is if PR emails me. And I was like, wait, I'm a part of this already. So I know
you
what the
did
company
it.
is all about, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
So before we get more into that, each episode we have our wine, and win of the week segment. This is where we share our
Mm.
favorite bottle of wine or drink, then about something that's been bothering us and celebrate our recent victories. So grab a glass, take a deep breath, and let's get started. So Chelsea, what is your drinking wine of the week?
I know I don't really drink, which is hilarious. But if
That's
I do
okay.
go out, I love orange wine, and I researched it for this. I was like, what makes orange wine special? But there's something about you. I don't know. It's like the skin is kept on while
Oh,
they ferment it. Anyway, I love orange wine mostly because it looks pretty and it's different. So if I do
so
drink,
like
it's that.
instead of grapes, they use oranges.
No, it's actually still grapes, but they leave
Oh, but
the skin
the,
on the grapes instead of peeling them, I suppose. So it just
okay,
results in a different color. So like fancy coffee
that's really
shops have
cool.
orange wine. They'll have like one token one. I always get it. Yeah, kind of
I need to
fancy.
look into that. I thought I
But
heard of
every
all
day I
different.
drink, I love hot cacao. So like not hot
Mm.
chocolate, an adult version that's like a healthier, no sugar cacao powder. That's my drink because I'm trying to give up coffee all the time.
Meanwhile, I have my espresso right here.
Yeah, I mean,
So,
I'm back on it, but I ebb and flow.
so what is your complaint wine of the week?
Complaint wine has to be about like a hardship that happened this week.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you'll relate to this. A brand ghosted us on our invoice, which almost never happens. But that was really bothering me at the beginning of the week. But this turned into a win because I will find other people at the company and email them and copy the person who's ignoring us. And the next day it was paid.
That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As a creator, I'm sure you understand the frustration of a brand being very responsive all along. And then all of a sudden, when they
Yeah.
need to pay you, they're like, hello.
What do you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I am excited to talk all about that because it's such a weird thing that like as a creator, a lot of us are not in the field of business
Mm-hmm.
or marketing like that. We're just kind of building our brand. Um, I definitely learned to make sure there's a contract. There have been I've been ghosted as well in the beginning. Now
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, no, I need something signed.
Mm-hmm.
So on a positive, what's your win of the week?
That company paying me was a win. The other one is when I actually started Momfluence, I started it as software and really we act as an agency. Like we do we do everything manually, like a human interacts with every creator, which is fine. But in the beginning, I really wanted software so that a brand would go on, just like Upwork or
Mhm.
anything else and use it themselves. And after almost 6 years, we finally have launched like a better version. It's a long story, but
Oh,
it's been an iteration over the years. And right now we're at the best possible place and it happened really quickly and so that it's my first week back from holiday and I'm like testing the new platform and
that's
you'll get
awesome.
an email soon actually asking you to fill out a profile, but that's a big
Cool.
giant win.
That's awesome. So the Running Wine Mom, we also talk a little fitness. What is your favorite way to stay active?
Yeah, I don't actually like working out, so I like Pilates. You get to lie in a reformer. I'm like, "What? You lie down for a lot of this?" I'm really big into walking, so, like, you and I both live in the cold, so if it's freezing, I won't go for a long walk, but I love walking. Like, I'll walk 3 hours a day in the nice
Yeah.
weather. The kids will allow it.
Oh,
So I
I've
do, and I'm trying to get into weightlifting. That's my, like, this 2026 goal. I feel like that's not as like, I don't like cardio. I don't like running. I don't like things where I'm suffering for a long time. My friend
Well,
does
yeah,
ultra marathons. My friend's doing, like, some crazy thing, and I'm like, "Well, Jane, why? You're gonna run for, like, 16 hours? What's wrong with you?"
I've done 2 marathons and I'm like, I
Right,
don't think I could go any yeah, I'm like, I don't think I could go any like, any longer than what I went 'cause I'm like, I don't know how the ultra marathoners do it. Like, I mean, I haven't run long distance since having my kids anyway, but I'm like, "Oh my god, it's
no,
crazy."
I'm not. I have a very low, tolerance for any type of suffering, like, even in college, if there was an exam that I felt like I was not doing well on, I was like, "Well, I'm just gonna give up, gonna hit them all on the way home." Like, I'm not gonna suffer through something. If it's not working, I jump ship. I'm like, "Move on to the next thing."
I
So,
love it.
but I do
So,
love
the
Pilates. I really like the strength part of Pilates, so that's my shout out to Reformer Pilates.
yes, I love
Yeah.
reformer Pilates so much. Does maintaining your Pilates kind of align with mental health at all? Like, is it something
Oh,
that you
yeah.
have to have in your
Yeah.
routine? Yeah.
I join the place I go, you have to join the same class every week, so, like, if I don't go, I pay for it anyway, so that's how I stay
Wow.
going, 'cause otherwise I'll be like, "I have something to do." But, yeah, I feel even just walking, honestly, after an hour walk,
Mhm.
I feel so much better, and on the days that I'm not
Yeah.
exercising in some capacity, so I got a walking pad at my office, which I'll be having the worst day and, like, I hate what I do, I don't wanna work anymore. Then I hop on the walking pad and I feel great after half an hour. It's crazy.
Yeah. I just was looking the other night at walking pads because I was like, do I like I don't work from home, but there are some times like the winter time, obviously this I'm like, do I need one just to kind of get the angst out
Mhm.
to just have that rather than walking around, in circles
Yeah.
upstairs?
No, it's yeah, yeah. Yeah, if you do that anyway, get a walking pad. They're pretty cheap
Yeah.
anyway, and,
Yeah, they're
and they're small. Yeah, I love it. I'll just pick a boring task, like sending follow-up
yeah,
emails and just walk for an hour.
love it. I could be doing it while I'm podcasting maybe.
You
No, I'm
could,
just kidding.
you could. Nobody would know.
All right, so let's talk about parenthood. Tell us about your family.
Yeah, I have 2 boys, 10 and 7. I'm divorced. I've been divorced for 5 years. I have a partner that I've had for a long time as well, but I still feel like a single mom. Like, that's always a weird thing to say, but, like, I don't live
Mhm.
with him. So, I am a pretty full-time mom. Like, I have my kids a lot. I've scheduled my work life around being present with my kids a lot, so that is my family, and it feels like a lot. Like, I feel like a stay-at-home
Yeah.
mom sometimes, but I'm like, "No, I actually have a job." Like, you
Yeah.
know?
I can't imagine just like my husband's schedule is so crazy, but not having him here on, you know, most of the time, like I give you guys so much credit. It's
Mhm.
something that until you become a parent, you don't really even grasp
Mhm.
or understand.
And I've done both.
What do
I
you
parented with my ex, and it's way, way, way easier, like, way
Yeah,
easier.
I know. My husband was home the other day and he made dinner and he did like bath and everything. And I was like, oh my God, if like this was happening every night, my life would be so easy.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy.
What do you think you were least prepared for in parenthood?
The lack of sleep, and I mean, I'm someone that really needs sleep, like, I never went to bed late, I would go to bed
Mhm.
at, like, 9 in high school. But, yeah, I think that, like, there's this common conception that, or misconception that sleep is only bad when that you have a newborn, which is, like, literally not what it is. It is 5
Mhm.
years, maybe longer, depending on what your my 10-year-old still has nightmares or needs water or is scared to go back to bed, like, it's just the lack of sleep is a lot.
Yeah. I was not prepared for the lack of sleep. Like with my daughter, it hit me in the face so hard. I was like, just everyone says, "Oh yeah, you don't sleep," and you're like,
Mhm.
"Yeah, yeah, yeah." And I'm
Yeah,
like,
keep it that bad.
"No, you
Yeah.
actually, this is terrible. This is horrible," and I
Mhm.
don't even require a lot of sleep.
I know you're one of those people. I need, like, 11 hours. 11 is my sweet spot, so you can imagine.
I don't even those days with my daughter still like haunt me in those early
Mm,
days. Thankfully, they're good sleepers now, but I
yeah,
can't.
well, it's the main reason I want another kid really badly, but I
Yeah,
actually don't know if I'd make it through the lack of sleep again. Like, I
no.
think it would take me to really dark places that my
Mhm.
kids are pretty independent now, so I'm like, I don't know if I can
Mhm.
go back to that. It is brutal.
Yeah. What do you think your parenting style is?
Okay, so I am, and my partner would attest to this, I tried to be a gentle parent, but I grew up in a very ungentle parenting
Mhm.
situation like we most did at our age, where it was really like authoritarian, things weren't really explained to you. So Depends on what it is. I feel like if it's something they're doing, like my kids will go out and bike around town. I don't care where they are. I'm
Right.
totally fine with that. I don't need to track them with an air tag. But if it's like screens or things that I feel are detrimental to their mental health, I'm really strict.
Mhm.
So my kids would say I'm strict, but I feel like in many ways like we'll be at a soccer game and parents are like, oh, don't go in the forest. There could be poison ivy. That would never cross my mind. I'm like,
Really?
go have fun,
Yeah.
whatever. Yeah, yeah.
I
So
feel as though I'm really Yeah, I'm so similar to that because it's like you want them to learn like, natural consequences in life and, if they get poison ivy, for example, then, they'll learn for better. But I agree when it comes to screen time, I'm like, that's it. Timer's done. You guys are off.
yeah, yeah,
No questioning it.
yeah, absolutely.
What's one piece of advice you would give to other parents?
Advice is hard for me. I'm like, I feel like my advice was that you need to just really be true to yourself. I remember Dr. Shafali, I think I'm saying it correctly. I saw an Oprah episode right before I had my first son, I think. And her whole episode, basically in a nutshell, was your kids aren't mini versions of you. Like you can't force them to think like you, to have the same values as you. So you just have to observe them, make sure they keep safe in some boundaries, but really let them be themselves. And I didn't really think that. As I said, I think I was pregnant. And I was like, "What do you mean? Like, I'm thinking of a mini version of me. Like, he's gonna ski and like love
Yeah.
sports and go to biking." And I think that's something that parents struggle with, right? It's like their kid is different than them and they get really wound up about that. And I think that really helped me to realize it's okay if they're really not like me. They might not like the same things I do.
Yeah, that is definitely something. So I remember when I was pregnant with my daughter, I was talking about something with sports and my husband's like, "Well, what if they don't like sports?" And I'm like, "What do you mean they wouldn't like sports?" I don't And he's like, "Well, cuz at that time we didn't know if it was a boy or a girl." He's like,
Mm.
We just don't know." And I was like, "I never even thought about that." So now I'm like, "Oh my gosh, I have to kind of similar if they don't like something, you can't force it. You got to kind of let them explore themselves."
Yeah. And not like panic that like something's wrong. Like, oh God, I'm not doing a good job. They're not like
Yeah.
me. Um,
All right, so let's get into the company. You've built a community of nearly 9,000 mom creators. So tell us about Momfluence, how it began, and what problem did you feel maybe in your own life that made you realize this space was needed something different?
Yeah. My previous career was I owned restaurants. So my ex and I owned restaurants for 11 years roughly. I got pregnant with my second son and I was like, I don't want to have a kid in like North America. I'm going to go do this in Costa Rica where it seems like nicer to live. All my problems will go away at the beach. The truth is your problems actually don't go away at the beach. They still are still just a much nicer place to think about them. But when I had my son, I was running a company that helped basically like small businesses get into retailers. So get into stores like baby clothes, whatever the item was.
Mhm.
And all those businesses, I was like, why do you not use influencers? You should be doing this as well. And so I kind of tried to help them do that. And by exploring what was out there, everything was just really expensive and confusing and not really transparent about what the fees were. So I really started it from there to help the businesses that I was already helping just in a different way.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
awesome.
And it's been 6 years.
And the thing for me personally as a mom creator, I think it's hard because there's no rule book for what you have to do, how to pitch yourself. And that's something that I like. Like, I just get an email from you guys and it's like, do I want to apply for this? Do I not want to apply for this? And I think it helps a lot with like that anxiety of sometimes we feel nervous pitching ourselves or
Mm,
knowing our worth and stuff like that. So that's just
mhm,
my own
mhm. Yeah, yeah.
little
Knowing
feed.
your worth is a hard thing. I've had creators
Yeah.
apply to campaigns, and I've in the beginning when I saw all their fees, now I have campaign managers, so I'm not involved that much. But I literally email the woman and be like, "Listen, you are way undercharging. Like someone similar to your metrics would charge this. Like just an FYI, start
Right.
charging more."
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
I see it in groups, and they're like, "How much do you charge?" How kind of that, and now that I've been in it more, it's very interesting to see, like, wow, I can't believe I was charging this price when I had this following and metrics,
mhm,
and so it's just a learning curve, but I just love that
yeah.
you guys are something that you can just come to, and then you can just kinda do.
Yeah.
It's
I
less
mean,
stressful.
there's the flip side too, whereas people ask for crazy high amounts and you're like,
Yeah.
"What?" But that is it. It's a freelancer economy and where there's really no it's not like you've left a job that paid X and now you're
Yeah.
doing it on your own, right? Which is a lot of freelancers. They were a UX designer at a company, they know what they made there, they wanna make something similar freelancing. Like all creators just have literally made it up. And there's
Right.
so much secrecy, right? Like if you asked 10 creator friends you have, are people really going to tell you what they get paid? It's a very competitive world. Very
Right.
competitive because
Yeah.
it's so
I
personal,
know.
right? So tied to your personal worth that whatever you feel you're getting paid is like what you're worth. So it's
Mhm.
not yeah, it's difficult, I think, to
What's the
know what to
craziest
charge.
what's the craziest fee that a content creator has said that they wanted for
Like we've had people that maybe have under 3,000 followers and reach 300 people on average ask for like 2K for a reel.
Wow. Oh my
Yeah.
god.
Yeah, stuff
I'm
like that.
undercharging.
Yeah, yeah, and you're like, "Ah." So sometimes we write back, "Do you know what the like, this is how" we do a little explanation. "This is how brands chart like, think of this, and you'd be charging 7,000 per view when someone else is charging 3." Like, we try to do
Right.
some education in a nice way, just like, "Hey, just an FYI, this
Yeah.
is how this breaks down, and no brand's gonna pay that."
Yeah. Oh my
Or
gosh.
not many,
Well,
some do.
yeah, some do. Well, you are a big advocate for empowering moms as decision makers. Why do you think that role is still underestimated in marketing and really even in society?
Yeah, I love this question because I actually feel like brands totally get the power of moms. Like the number of times someone has told me, like, wow, that's a really smart idea. Like moms decide everything. And they're mostly companies that sell to anything related to household, like maybe not a golf
Mhm.
company or barbecues, but the 99% of things that we actually are in charge of buying. So I think companies and CEOs and execs all understand it. I think it's more that most women, as they're growing, maybe don't think it, right? Like if you think of Molly Vondi, and she knows her worth, she's making a shitload of money. But I think the in between is where there's so much doubt. And maybe it's just there's not enough evidence or not enough people talk about like, hey, when you get
Mhm.
to this mark, you're actually making this much money and it gets really good. There's an in between that sucks, but you have power. So I think moms are the ones that actually undervalue themselves. I think businesses, from what I know, like the number of people I talk to every week that are just brands are like, "Yeah, we absolutely know moms. We have to target them.
Mhm.
They decide everything. Like, this is a great idea."
Yeah, and it's something like I was saying earlier how I teach teaching is not a very lucrative excuse me, business. Something like when we have this extra, you get paid crap for extra stuff,
Mhm,
but then when you think your worth is not a lot, and then when you're
mhm,
talking to these brands, it's like, "Oh my gosh, I am worth something. This is really cool to see." And so I
mhm,
think maybe a lot of people are confused about like, "What am I worth?"
mhm,
You think you're worth less.
mhm.
Um and you've worked with over 500 brands. From your side of the table, what's something moms would be surprised to learn about how brand decisions actually get made?
Yeah, I feel like sadly brands really do still think of transactions as a numerical, like data-based.
Mhm,
Like the number of creators who have amazing content, they spend so much time on their reels. Like maybe they even hire a photographer, like or a videographer. They really go above and beyond. A brand will still, and even if it's like a perfect, brand alignment, it still comes down to like everyone has a higher up they have to report to. So it really is all about metrics, which is
yeah,
unfortunate for us. Though,
I
people
know.
will choose really bad accounts in my mind for them and over accounts that are amazing for them, but much smaller. And it's really hard to get them to see that the value isn't just in the number of people that see it. It's really like who is seeing it. But it's hard to say, like,
Yeah,
oh, yeah, we could have spent this and got these impressions, but instead we did this and got way less, right? That's not,
yeah.
doesn't fly.
Yeah, I find like people with like 2,500 to 3,000 followers, a lot of times they have such loyal people that
Hmm.
are, rather than you having a million followers and it's like, oh, I don't know. I don't really, I just
Yeah.
follow this person because they share stuff all the time, which is,
Yeah. One
interesting.
of the biggest campaigns I did at the very beginning, I think it was like year one, was this storytelling device called Looney. Anyway, we worked with 30 creators, I think. And did you ever watch Seventh Heaven? Do you know that show?
Yes. Yeah. I love
Oh,
that show.
Beverly.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so she was like a D-list celebrity. The brand manager really wanted like one sort of celebrity-ish person. She maybe had 3 million followers. She didn't even charge us that much because she doesn't need the money. It was just like she was
Right.
pretty reasonable. Then she was the highest paid. I forget what we paid her, a couple thousand. The lowest paid person was paid $150. We still work with her all the time. Belliston twins. She might have changed her handle. But she outperformed Beverly Mitchell by like 20% in terms of link clicks,
Oh.
views, everything. And I was like, that happens more often than you would think. So
Hmm.
brands are always wanting the millions of followers influencers. Some brands don't have any money to pay them, but some do. And it's always the smaller creators that perform the best, like
Yeah.
always.
Yeah, I believe it for sure. What's the biggest mistake you see brands make when they try to be relatable to moms? Like if it's something
Yeah.
that's
I think brands do a really good job being relatable when a woman or a mom actually makes the content, right? Like if it's a
Mhm.
mom-led company or at least someone doing the social media is a mom, I think where it goes awry is if someone that's not that is trying to make it just based on what they see and it just comes out wrong. Like really you
Mhm.
can't go wrong being authentic. You really can't. Again, like I'll bring
Right.
up Emily Bondi. She is so ridiculously authentic. It doesn't you never feel like she's doing something just because she's forced to do it. And I feel like sometimes brands think they need to be relatable on X, Y, and Z topic, and it just comes off as really like cold and transactional, like a check mark.
So
Like I'm going to talk about the sleepless nights because it's, we're a baby expert brand, but it's not actually the experience you have.
right. And so how would you advise creators to do that, to stay authentic when money does matter to those people who are maybe
hmm
not making the money that they want?
Yeah, I actually think that you just, no matter what, shouldn't. Like, I mean, there's lots of creators that take so many brand collabs, right? Their whole feed, every single post. We try
Mhm.
to not accept anyone on the platform that has more than one in four, really like one in two. You have to split it up. It's if it's too many
Right.
ads, it just why would anybody follow you? But it is I totally do get it. It's a hard thing, and depending on how desperate you are for money, maybe you don't have a choice. But the
Mhm.
long-term strategy that if you wanna be a creator for many, many years, like a decade like you've been, you really have to be authentic in order to keep going for 10 years and to grow, right? There's no point in doing it for 10 years and staying under 5K.
Yeah.
So I think it depends. I guess, I'm not gonna shame anyone for taking brand collabs 'cause I understand they're lucrative and they can pay, and sometimes that's just what you need to do, but definitely the long-term plan is to really stay authentic and maybe suggest different things. Like if a brand comes to you and wants to work with you and you feel like it's not the right thing, just suggest making UGC. So you're still working with them and getting paid, but you're not posting to your feed.
Right. I love
Yeah.
UGC. I just started doing that, this year as well, which was pretty it's way better because, yeah, I felt for a little bit I was having too many ads on my feed of myself, and I'm like, I need to figure out how to do both.
Mhm. Or at least if you work with companies, let's say you do have a lot of ads, at least if you actually genuinely use it, you can write a caption that just actually feels like you use it. It is really hard to write about something that you don't use. It's just impossible.
Yeah.
So and yeah, UGC really is taking off, and it's actually something that I recommend. So I have anywhere between 10 and 30 brand calls a week, and most brands do not have huge budgets, and they're like, "How do we, work with creators in the most affordable way?" It's like, get UGC made and run
Mhm.
ads because,
Right.
it just makes so much more sense than paying a bunch of creators when you don't have a big budget.
And I, like, personally love UGC because it doesn't mess up my algorithm. They
Mm,
can use it. It's done. I don't have to be stressed about, "Oh my god, how many people are going to be watching this?"
mm, mhm.
What's gonna happen with my metrics as well, so
Yeah, true, I've
I
never
do
thought
think
of it
it's
that
worth
way.
it.
Because
Yeah,
because it's true that all brand content tanks compared to your regular content most of the time.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Which is crazy, that's that must be an algorithm thing where they're just not, it makes
right,
sense. It makes sense for Instagram, but it sucks for the reality of the industry.
I know. What are some early signs of burnout you see most often, and how can you help influencers kind of correct that?
Yeah, a lot of times influencers, I think, like we get lots of messages, of course, just by virtue of working with moms. They're like, my kid is really sick, or I'm in the hospital, or I'm just gave birth, but I'll try to get it to you by like the end of today. And we literally bite right back. Absolutely not. Don't worry. Like,
Yeah.
take your time. I think people in marketing, and I'm not a marketing person, even though that's my job now, but there's such an urgency for things that are not urgent. Like the
Mhm.
brand post about this stroller can wait until you're out of the hospital, right? Like I don't buy into this crazy urgency of marketing has to be 24/7. And so I really think when people are over communicative, when they can't turn off when there's a real life thing, like this is a job if I had something happen, I would absolutely not work. I would not be working from
Right.
the hospital. I'd be like not able to work.
Like
I think that's
yeah,
definitely an early sign. And I hope creators, but not all brands are like this, right? So we just tell the brand, sorry, she's in the hospital. We'll check in with her in a few weeks. Like we're going to give her like a time.
yeah,
And I,
that's
I feel
great.
like there must be brands you would know that are just not like, I guess they cancel contracts or they're just not as amenable.
So you do sit in a rare position. You're advocating, like you just said, for both the brands and the moms. Where do you see often see misalignment between the two sides, besides when
A lot of
someone's in the
times
hospital?
brands really want like an ad made, but that will be posted on your feed, right? And so the content approval process, brands get to see the content most of the time if they want before a creator posts. And the edits that come back, they don't understand that you have your own brand that has to feel authentic and you have
Hmm.
a very temperamental audience that will smell inauthenticity and just stop looking at your content. So I think like the threat to the creator livelihood based on what the brand wants as an ad, it's not an ad. It's this creator sharing your product or service in their own authentic way. That still is not a very accepted thing. A brand still wants, I want 7 key features talked about and this exact saying. It's just
And it's
wild.
like, yeah, which is so interesting. It's like we are not a TV channel. We're
Yeah.
building, people we are, but it's like people you wouldn't have someone who watches Friends all the time be in the same place as someone who watches like Game of Thrones. Like
Mm,
it's very
mhm, mhm,
different clientele that are watching it. Maybe the same, but
mhm.
I do think that. So, what's a collaboration red flag that creators should never ignore, even if the brand name is temp?
Yeah, I think that same point, if a brand sends you like, "Hey, this is the brief, this is what we're expecting," and it's really, really detailed, like, often we recommend I actually heard this from one of my, aspirational companies who called Four. They're in New York, and the guy is just, really, really smart about influencer marketing, and he described the brief that creators get as, like, bumper alleys, so they're called. The bowling
Yeah,
lane thing that, so you'd want
yeah,
well, you keep the
bumpers. Yeah,
bowl in the middle, so say what you don't wanna do or you don't want them to do, like, please don't say this is gonna cure your eczema. There's some legal things, of course, that people can't say, but other than that, you should let creators do what they want. A brief really shouldn't be just naming all the points that you want to get expressed. That's
hmm,
writing a scripted ad. So I think that if
right,
something seems too strict on what the content, it's not gonna resonate, it's not gonna do well, they're not gonna be happy. What's the point? Of course, money does factor in, I'm not gonna ignore that, but yeah, I think that, or if a brand's really vague. But sometimes it seems like product seeding and they're just happy to send you something and then it turns out no, they want X, Y, and Z and they're gonna hound you
right,
until then. And I think vague,
yeah,
vague expectations and then too strict or, too picky expectations.
yeah. I do agree with that. It's also so interesting just how different brands are sending you stuff. Like someone, like you just said, will send you nothing, and then someone will send you like every
Oh,
single
yeah.
step, and you're like, oh my gosh. How do you think mom creators shape not just buying decisions, but the emotional tone of family life and culture right now?
Yeah. I think that I'm sure you've heard this. I think it was a trending reel that the happiness of the mom is like the most deciding factor of a kid's happiness, not the dad. It's like,
Hmm.
how was your mom growing up? And I think that in the past, women were kind of seen as this, especially like growing up. I had a lot of friends' moms who stayed at home working, and it just kind of like they were in the background. They were just always doing
Hmm.
something, but it didn't seem like what they did was that important. But now, even if you work or don't work or are a creator or whatever, it really is so important how you really set the tone for your whole family. That just is the way it is.
It is. I agree. If I'm in a bad mood, so is everybody else. You know what I mean?
Smart men know that, and they're like, "I can't do
Yeah.
this."
As communities kind of scale, values can kind of blur as you get bigger. You have to be more in line with certain things. What's something you've been intentional about in protecting as Momfluence has grown?
And so I'm pretty intentional. So people apply to the platform or we invite them. But most
Right.
people apply for the sake of this conversation. And I'm a pretty liberal person and I don't want people that maybe are against things that I feel are human rights. Like I just
Right.
don't want that to be part of it. So even though that's a personal thing, I just don't. That's just a hard
Yeah.
no. So, and I mean, there's some things that will happen in pop culture or current times that I'm like, oh, this person's posting about that. We're going to just remove them because
Right.
I just don't want to, it's just not a good feeling for me. So that maybe that side on the creator side and on the company side, I mean, there's lots of brands that I won't work with because I'm like, this just seems sketchy or it's just like, I don't want us to be associated with this. Like my worst nightmare in the beginning was all those like slim tea things
Yeah.
and I was
I
like, "Oh god,
forgot
I
about
don't want
that.
brands like that." Like,
No.
that's not what I want this to be. I want this to be like a reputable, I don't want those kind of things.
Yeah.
I mean, another even the thing about, like, not pressuring people to work or submit things when they are having some kind of life issue. I wanna be understanding, like, this is a woman-based business. We have all women staff except for my partner who's a tech guy. We work with all mom creators. Most of the brand managers we work with are women, like, it's women all around, and I just feel like we could
Cool.
change the way things are, you know,
Yeah.
corporate. Again, like, it's back to my urgency thing. Nothing is that urgent. Even my employees that
Right.
get stressed. I'm like, do not stress. This does not
Yeah.
matter. You are not working on the weekend. Tell the brand we don't work weekends.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, and it's funny as you're saying that, like, I am on a couple different platforms, but I always notice your products are so perfectly aligned with motherhood, but also they're good products. They're not like you said, it's not skinny tea or whatever.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
not just like the stuff you're gonna chuck when you get it. Like they're genuine things.
Which is like back to the question of, it's basically the same as a creator determining should
Hmm.
I take a collab that's inauthentic. I know
Right.
that I've lost money over the years. I'll have calls and I'm like, I just don't think that we're a good fit. Like basically your
Yeah.
product, I don't want that. I just don't want to be
No.
associated with it. And even businesses that are politically on a different side than me, very
Hmm.
obviously, I cancel meetings. I'm like, this sorry, I just don't think we're a good fit. And
That's awesome.
it hurts financially, I suppose. It's not like a known financial hit, but it's better for me long term to build Momfluence
Yeah.
something that people feel like, hey, everything's, at least relatable and good.
Yeah. And you're not just saying you're supporting moms, you are supporting with, our rights and that's important to know.
It's funny, actually, I have a thing that I've tried to do. I've always tried to run campaigns that like, I tried to do one for kids in hot cars and drowning prevention, and I don't know if you were on at this time, it was probably 2 or 3 years ago. I sent out campaign applications like we always do and said, like, are you willing to post about this on one day?" My idea was to have, 1,000 moms post about it on one day, like beginning of May. "Here's
Right.
a reminder, put your wallet or phone by your kid," because like, the platform everyone has is massive.
Right.
It's not a sponsored post, there's no brand sponsoring, it's just like, will you do this for the sake of motherhood and helping everybody out? And the number of creators that applied that said the options were like, I'll do this for my normal rate, I'll do it for half my rate, or I'll do it for free. And of maybe 300 people that applied, almost everyone was either half my rate or full price. And
Wow.
so I want to be able to do more things, but like I don't Momfluence is not a creator. We do not have a huge following, but I would love
Right.
to have the opportunity to set those things up and facilitate them. But,
Mhm.
maybe I should try again. Maybe now that things have gotten worse in the world,
Well,
people are.
yeah, I also think, like, if you just took away the price options, like, I think because, like, I'm just thinking, yeah, you might just automatically pick, like, yeah, I'm willing to do this for my full price, as opposed to,
Mhm.
like,
Yeah.
if you just said, am I willing to do it for free? Then I think your mind might go into, like, a different, oh, this is a really cool
Mhm.
campaign that all these moms are doing versus, like, oh, are some people getting paid for it?
Yeah,
And
yeah,
I'm
that's a
not,
good point. Yeah,
you
yeah.
know?
It's like you're losing the
Yeah.
opportunity. Like, I could get paid, so maybe I should say that
Right.
I want to get paid. Yeah,
Yeah.
I love that.
Um,
It's a good
yeah.
idea.
So in that area of, like, losing out on money, what advice do you give moms who feel hesitant to speak up, to pitch themselves, or to advocate for fair compensation? Like, how do you ensure a brand is also and also how do you ensure that a brand is compensating fairly?
Yeah, I mean, I will tell you that if we get 500 people applying to a campaign, there is a very huge range of people. And
Mhm.
often a brand, let's say you are asking $500 and you really are worth 300, the brand knows you likely aren't going to go down to 300, so they'll probably settle at 400. So really,
Okay.
I mean, there's a fine line between asking way too much where you're like, they're not going to ever negotiate, so why be bother? But, I mean, I have done posts about this, to literally how to price yourself, like how we negotiate, and I should probably reshare it. But,
Yeah.
I'd be happy to do that. But, like, I think also when it's like, what would you be happy with? Let's say it's a stroller, it's like a $2,000 stroller. Are you happy with getting X? Like, would you feel good about walking away with that after for what you have to do? I feel like intuitively we all have this feeling of like either that feels icky or it feels good. And
Mhm.
I think where greed comes in is like, yeah, it would feel better if I got this though. Well, that mindset could erase the whole opportunity. So I think
Yeah.
finding the balance of where you feel good about it and you can walk away being happy to be a part of it.
Yeah, there was last year was definitely one of my goals was to get paid for a majority of my, sponsor rather because I
Yeah.
was getting free gifts forever. And I'm like,
Yeah.
but we were going away and we were sick and tired of renting car seats. So I
Mm.
actually was working with the Ride Safer Vests company and they sent me the vests over. I wasn't paid for anything. It was gifted. And we are obsessed. And I'm like, those are things that I think a lot of times that maybe moms who are in the content creation don't realize like you can if you're going to go buy like you said that $2,000
Mhm.
stroller anyway, reach out
Yeah.
to the brand if they want to do a collaboration and send it to you. Yeah,
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
not getting paid your rate, but
Directly, yeah.
you've just saved yourself
Yeah.
money type thing.
Which is why gifting campaigns, I think, really only work. Like, the number of brands I have calls with where they wanna do a gifting campaign and they have a $30 item, like, what? Nobody's gonna accept that, at
I
all.
used to.
Yeah, oh, I think that nobody should ever accept that, like, even for ti our minimum is 100, really. If you're not getting
Okay.
100, no matter how small you are, I just don't think that that's interesting enough.
Hmm.
But it is true, and I explained to them, if you have a higher price item that someone actually wants, to them, it can work as cash, and those,
Yeah.
it's just different, and those brands are really lucky, not every brand is that. But,
Yeah.
yeah, the pitching thing, you should pitch more for sure. I should do a post on pitching actually, because I have sneaky ways of finding emails. Pitching is a full-time job though, really.
It
I
is.
know people that pitch for travel and stuff, like, if you have the time to do it, it definitely works. There's lots of brands that
Hmm.
don't use platforms or, we're, like, the first thing they use, and they just tell us that they get so many incoming inquiries that they fill their creator schedule just by that. So that definitely
That's good
works
to
for
know.
paid and gifted.
Cool.
Yeah.
So, in your opinion, what makes content resonate with moms right now? Especially, it is a little bit oversaturated, but there's still plenty
Oh,
of
yeah, I
room
love
to
it.
shine.
Yeah. Like, what makes content relatable? I mean, always, it sounds like it's just so repeated, but being authentic. But I think that
Mhm.
people that aren't afraid of just being judged, right? That's because we're
Yeah.
all afraid of being judged. So whatever weird thing you are, or, if you somehow can be a unicorn and not be afraid of being judged, then I think you make really good content that somebody will find, and you'll find your community of people that really relate to you. I think that
Yeah.
a lot of the inauthentic content comes from being judged, and of course, I totally get that. But I think the creators that really succeed and go viral and have relatable content are the ones that actually just know that they're relatable, and it's not no
Hmm.
one's going to judge them. People are going to embrace their real selves
Right.
because they're so, like, we're all very similar. We all have the same complaints, the same things that are great for us. I mean, we're way more similar than we're different.
Yeah, I can totally agree with that. And I used to hate that advice, like, don't be scared of being judged. And it's like, well, I'm posting. What do you mean? And then it's like, oh, once you like kind of like me walking in the snow in my heels, wondering if my neighbors are looking at me. I wouldn't have done that like
Yeah,
5 years ago because I would have been
yeah,
scared to. It does give a little bit of more, and you can be happier that you're
totally.
posting and brands are going to like that as well with that they know this person is not just faking it, like,
Yeah, like that.
scripting it out, which I like.
I feel like there's lots of, like to know creators in North Carolina and stuff who just make their lives look so perfect. And sure, you get
Mhm.
sucked in for a few videos, but you don't want to check in with them often, right? It's like you
Right.
accidentally hit up with their content, and you feel bad about yourself and you move along. Really, the people that you think about and you want to, watch their stories, or you want to follow and actually go through, 100 of their videos, are people that make you feel just normal and normal in
Right.
your weirdness. I don't know many people, not many moms that want to feel like they're not doing a good job when you watch someone's content, like, honestly.
Yeah. There's already too much pressure for that, I totally agree. What are some shifts that you're seeing in mom-led marketing that, first of all, excite you, but then also concern you?
Concern me? Nothing really concerns me. I think if anything, it's getting better. I think brands are realizing that creators need to get paid. When I first started,
Mhm.
the idea was just that everybody would take gifted, and, like, why would I pay anybody? So I
Right.
think that understanding of what it takes to become a creator and have an account that's worth paying is
Mhm.
much farther along. And I'm excited about the UGC trend because I think that's a way that moms can make a lot of money without
Yeah.
the pressure. Because obviously, come to know quite a few influencers over the years, and the number of things they send me, like, "Hey, this post didn't do well. Like, what's the reason?" It's so hard.
It's
Like,
so
psychologically,
crazy.
it's very hard. I have a
Yeah,
friend
and
who's an
it's
influencer, and she used to send me she does carousel posts, mostly she's fashion. She would send me 6 or 8 photos before every day and say, "Which one should I post?" And the amount of scrutiny that goes into that. If
yeah.
you're not a creator, you don't understand how it just lives in your mind so much. So I think
And it's
UGC is
so
much freer.
and I don't know if you've done anything with trial reels, but sometimes I'll do like similar videos, changing like a couple things because you can't do the same thing. But it's like one will get a million views and then the next will get 1,000 views. And I'm like, but there's
Mm,
like the same
so similar.
concept, the same video. What is
Yeah.
why is it
Yeah, why?
not getting pushed now? So I don't know. The algorithm is stressful.
It's totally out of your control and no one understands it. It's not like you're a teacher and if you get your master's, you get paid in this grade, right? It's very hard. So UGC is much, much easier. It's consistent
Yeah.
pay for a project. It doesn't matter how it performs, and I think it's
Yeah.
better for the brand too, really. I think that because
I
it's
totally agree.
saturated, we watch every day. I watch 50 at least videos that are selling something. I'm absolutely not buying one thing
Right.
every day. So, of course, it doesn't work like they're not magicians, you
Right.
know?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. So what has building the community taught you about motherhood that maybe you didn't expect?
I was always very ambitious. Like, in my 20s, I think like most 20-year-olds, you think that anything is possible and
Mhm.
you're gonna be the next billionaire and all these things. And I've always had my own company because I like that autonomy of, like, the sky is the limit in terms of what I can get out of it
Mhm.
theoretically. Doesn't always work that way. But now that I have a company that is successful, I mean, my previous one was too, but on a different level, I actually realized that it's not the most important thing. Like, it's really not. I'd choose not to work 40 hours a week because I would rather be
Mhm.
with my kids. I'd rather be there after
Right.
school and before school. So I think that I thought that once I had a company that I could in theory grow to be very, very, very big, that I would prioritize that and have a nanny and have all the things that made me, you know, able to work more. And the reality is I want to work less. Like, it's the opposite.
Yes, I could totally relate to that. If you could change one thing about how brands approach moms, as soon as possible, what would it be?
Definitely the more creative freedom. Like, I would love a brand to
Mhm.
just email you and say, "Hey, I love what you're doing with your account. I would love to work with you. I'm going to pay you X for a reel. Please send it in ahead of time. Don't say that it's going to cure your, crazy sleepless nights. But other than that, I want you to make content that you think that you want to make. Not
Yeah.
here's the brief and 10 things I need you to say."
Yes, same.
That's probably the biggest thing. That's the most annoying thing for us is when we see a brief a
Mhm.
brand's made and it just feels unrealistic that a creator's ever going to
Yeah.
do that and it's going to be good.
Yeah. Yeah. It's interesting. Yeah, it's interesting what their perspective of why they think that is going to work too. I would be intrigued about it. Just,
I
out
think
of pure
this is
curiosity.
my take. I think that a lot of super senior people are still men that are older,
Mhm.
don't use
Mhm.
social media. Many, many
Mhm.
people I have calls with don't use social media. So they think that
Which
all
is
you make are
crazy.
actual ads.
Oh
And
my gosh.
and so
That's
if
crazy.
they see the content, they're like, "Well, they didn't say our full brand name or they didn't mention that we're 100% non-GMO approved by da da da," like something that you would never say to a friend, but they think that
Right.
you're not properly encapsulating the brand if that point isn't out there. It's
Hmm.
like I think that it will change over the years as they age
I
out
think
and
so.
retire and
Yeah,
people have grown
for
up with
sure.
social media, they'll understand that, hey, the less you say about a brand, the better the content performs.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree with that.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, you have given us so much great information. I'm going to ask one last final question
Okay.
to round it off. For the moms listening who are juggling their kids, their creativity, their doubt, and their ambition, what do you want her to know about her value, both online and off?
Mm. Offline moms really are just the pinnacle of society in every way. I
I
mean, like,
agree.
I'm pretty feminist to begin with, but I again, like, in my 20s thought, "I'm gonna work full time. I'm gonna work just as much as men." But if that happened, like, imagine a dad throwing a birthday party. There would be pizza and, paper plates. That's about it. Like, we're just so creative. We connect all the community. Kids would have a terrible life if it was just the dad. No offense, I'm sure
Hmm.
there's some amazing dads, but mostly, I organize every play date, think of every activity,
Right.
right? So offline, like, it's crazy how valuable we are. And we're in a world where we want more free time and more quality time. Like, we're the makers of all that, really.
Hmm.
We really truly
Yeah.
are. Doubt and ambition. I think every woman has ambition in some way. Maybe it is just being like a stay-at-home mom, which is a crazy full-time job. But I think everyone has doubt. And there's lots of women that try to be boss babes. Like, as I said to you, I don't I know one of my questions is where can people find me? I don't post on social media. I just don't. I don't like it. I never have. I had to get an Instagram account to start Momfluence. I was like, shit, I should probably like be on this. But that's the authentic way I do it. I'm not the face of the business, and that is my way of doing it so that it feels like something I like.
Yeah, I love that. Well, I think that's a perfect place to end it. So thank you so much for coming on. That's going to bring us to the end of another episode of The Running Wine Mom. Chelsea, as I just said, this conversation feels like it's such an important reminder that moms aren't just consumers. We are the culture builders. And the way you speak about moms, the way you advocate for them, and the way that you've created really a system that respects their voice, that really matters. So thank you for doing that for all of us. I know so many moms that are listening right now. I hope they feel validated. I hope they feel encouraged and maybe even a little braver after hearing you speak, braver to ask more and to protect their energy and to also to trust their instincts. So thank you for that. Yeah. As always, thank you for spending time with us on The Running Wine Mom. Don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share this episode with a mom who needs to hear it. You can follow me on Instagram at the running wine mom _. And Chelsea, I know you said you're not on Instagram, but where can we find
You could
all the
message
Momfluence stuff?
you could message Momfluence and they'll pass it along, but I do have LinkedIn and I use LinkedIn, so that's basically or you could email me, but yeah, I
Yeah.
don't have a
Well,
personal Instagram.
that's quite all right. It's good to be private in a, world where everybody is public.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much for
Nice
joining
talking
us
with
today.
you.
Yeah, thank you. Remember, you are strong, you are capable, and you are all amazing. Until next time, keep running, keep sipping, and keep embracing the joy of motherhood. Cheers, and I will be back next Tuesday. All right. That was all.